ACA 510, another alpha ceramic abrasive meant for wool or foam, meant to cut fast on hard clear coat. But as many of you well know, I love the extra cut, the ACA 500, intended for a wool pad, but I've shown you many times it works wonderfully with foam or microfiber cut pads as well. Here I have a test panel with 2000 grit on the left, 800 grit on the right. And as you can see, the clear coat is troubled, and we will use a microfiber and a wool pad with both products side by side. Here are some of my favorite pads to team up with the ACA 500 and when I use the 510 for that product as well. Let's start off with the rotary, and attached to it is a wool pad from Lake Country, and we'll use the 3D ACA 510. Just like most detailing products, shake up vigorously, especially if it's been sitting on the shelf for quite a time. The pad has been primed. Let's get a couple pea-sized drops onto the wool and start cutting. Again, this is the 800 grit side, 800 sand marks. Yes, I left the 5-inch wool pad on the 3-inch backing plate. I have that set up for when I'm working on extremely curvy areas and I want that plate to fit in there. Have the wool pad wrap around the edges of the plate so the plate doesn't bump up against any body lines or anything that is extruding into the area that I'm working. It just protects everything, and it actually cuts everything nice and easy. I'll show you exactly what I mean when I do another rotary use video. The problem I have with 510, and the reason I use the ACA 500 over it, is because of the cycle time, a short cycle time with 510. It seems like the abrasives are set in a paste and not a nice, rich, oily mixture. Some like that over the ACA 500. I'd rather have the longer cycle time with less dusting. It's also a bit grittier, and I'll show you as we work these areas. So right here is where I shut the polisher down. That's because the 510 was at the end of its cycle time. It was drying out. No more progression was being made, and that happened prematurely before correction was to my satisfaction. So let's use a panel prep to make sure there's no filling capabilities as well. As I bring you in closer for a look, you'll notice the correction, there's still correction to be made, but the cycle time fell short before that was completed in this section. So yeah, absolutely, you just do a second or third pass if needed. Let me show you up in the top part of this area, yet still 800 grit marks, what the ACA 500 can do. Same pad, just cleaned out so there's no cross-contamination whatsoever. With the ACA 500, the cycle or open time is much longer, less dusting, and I can actually almost complete the correction in this area with this pass. Once again, we'll grab the prep, clean off the area, wipe off the residue, show you there's no fillers being left in there, and we'll come in and take a close look. Much more progress made, and I could tell you I don't know if it shows up on the video, but I could tell you it finishes down better using both a wool pad, microfiber, or foam. And I will use the gloss meter to back up the claims and put some numbers behind what we see. Better finishing capabilities with the numbers to back it up in the ACA 500 section. Let's move over to microfiber, and what we'll use is a 50/50 pad. So this can cut and finish. So from here, you would just need a very fine finishing polish and finishing or application pad to bring out the most gloss and reflection and clarity. This is where I'll shut the polisher down with the microfiber pad. The cycle time is pretty much exhausted. It's drying out a bit, and it's time to wipe off the residue. I'll use a panel prep once again, and we'll come in for a look. Now here, this does look good, and we did most of the correction before the cycle time ran short. But as you'll see here, the halo around the light, it really needs to be finished. It's not a refined product. Yes, it did remove the imperfections almost completely, but let me show you what the ACA 500 can do in its section. It can cut and finish, and when you team it up with the Eurofiber pad here, which has 50% cut, 50% finish fibers, you can go a lot further. Correction has been made, and I can actually still make another pass or two. The cycle time has not ended, it hasn't dried out, no dusting whatsoever. And this actually is what I see on different types of clears I work on. Corvettes with the hard, stubborn clear coat, to Land Rovers and Jaguars that have medium to rather soft clear coat. The 500 did a wonderful job in this section, removing the imperfections and finishing down a bit further than the 510. And we'll see some numbers to back that up as well. If you put a dab on your hands or on this test panel and spread it out and rub it between your fingers, it'll be a much grittier experience with the 510. And I'll bring you in close to take a look at both of these when they're side by side. You'll see the grittiness set in paste on the left with the 510 and a nice rich polishing oils, just a much smoother look and ride across the panel when you are correcting. So I really lean towards the ACA 500. I know it's subjective and others will lean towards the 510, but I just wanted to share my experience. This has been Brian from Apex Detail. Catch you in the next video.